Hey everyone, happy Saturday. So normally my plan was to do these videos on Friday, but Friday kind of got away from me. So I actually did record it a couple times and then never posted it, and then I decided I wanted to redo it, so now it's Saturday. But going forward, I wanted to do weekly empty videos on Fridays to kind of take a look at what I burned through in that week. I love empty videos myself. I watch them all the time. They're my favorite. Um, because when you're looking to buy candles, it's not just about the scent, right? It's not just about the cold sniff. Just because a candle smells great on cold doesn't mean it's going to perform well, doesn't mean it's going to have good throw, doesn't really mean much of anything other than that initial impression. You might get an idea as to whether or not it's in the scent family that you enjoy, but that's about it. You don't really know what you're going to get and whether it's worth that, $10, $20, $34 or however much you're spending. It's your money. So you want to know that it's going towards a good candle. So those empty videos are really the best reviews available. So you can see, not just how the candle smells, but how it performs, how it burns. Is it sooty? Does it have poor throw? Is it a powerhouse? Um, you really can't replace those videos. They're gold. So with that being said, um, I wanted to share some of the burns that I had for this week that I emptied. It's also recycling day. So I'm trying to do this video so I can pop out the wax and put them in my recycling bin before it gets picked up, because otherwise they'll be sitting there for 2 weeks. I digress. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So the first one I have is Harvest Hayride. So this one is apple, cinnamon, pumpkin, harvest spices, mountain hay, cedar, sage, and patchouli. So I've heard really great things about this candle for quite some time, but I've never actually picked it up, and it's because of that patchouli. It scared me. I am not a patchouli fan. For most people, you either love it or you hate it, and I am definitely in the hate it um, category. I don't like patchouli. I find that it really overpowers pretty much everything. And that's kind of what I expected out of candles as well. I've been pleasantly surprised though that with a lot of candles that I've bought that have patchouli as a note, it doesn't overpower. And of course, that's dependent on what the other scent notes are in the candle, and how well they're able to temper the strongness of the patchouli. Um, but I've enjoyed many candles with patchouli in it, and this is one of them. Um, when I wrote the review on Facebook about this candle in a Facebook group that I'm in, the way I described it is like a fall scent grab bag. There's so much going on in here, um, and it really evolved as I burned it. So when I first opened it on cold sniff, the spice was what got me. Very spicy, not at all sweet. As it burned, it was more of the woodiness that I picked up. And now that it's burned through, and I'm sniffing it again, it's the hay. The hay is what stands out to me. So this was such an interesting, confusing, but enjoyable candle. Um, I would absolutely get it again. I'm not sure if it's still in stock. I have not checked. Um, I do have one more that I picked up that I'll save for next year, although I'm sure it'll come back. It is an incredibly popular candle. So highly recommend. And if, like me, you don't love patchouli, it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet. You won't be overpowered by the patchouli at all. The next one I have is another Goose Creek. I don't think that I mentioned that Harvest Hayride is Goose Creek, but it is. The next one's also Goose Creek, and it is Applewood Trail. This one is crisp red apple, fresh air, cinnamon, and woods. I love this. Love it. If you like Harvest Hayride, you will almost certainly like Applewood Trail. This was a new one this year, and it is not in stock, which was a bummer because I would have gotten more of them. I did get two. Sorry, I'm going to save the other one for next year, but I would have gotten more. And I'm hoping it comes back next year. I know it was a real big hit with a lot of people. So hopefully it will. But this one was fantastic. I loved it. Again, not a sweet candle, but very, very fragrant. Great throw. Those apples are definitely forward. Um, but the cinnamon and the woods make it very unsweet, unsweetened apple, if you will. The cinnamon and the woods like balance out the apple so well. It's definitely primarily I mean, the woody scent is so strong, but that apple, I mean, they're not fighting with one another. They're complementing one another. It's a great medley. So if you love candles with a little bit of sweetness but are not overly sweet, this is absolutely a go-to. The scent is not nearly as complex as Harvest Hayride. There is no patchouli in it. So if you're looking to avoid patchouli altogether, I would definitely go with this one. I mean, really great. Loved it across the board. I mean, it was a powerhouse thrower for me. So I couldn't recommend it more. The last Goose Creek I burned through this week was Blackberry Bourbon. The scent notes for this were juicy blackberries, strawberries, green leaves, dark plums, Kentucky bourbon, and sugar. So this one was interesting. The blackberry was definitely forward. Strawberries, I don't get a whole lot of strawberry in here, but it is a very sweet candle. A little too sweet for me. I did really enjoy it. The throw was good. Um, I didn't get as much bourbon as I would have liked. I was kind of looking for more of the bite of the bourbon to kind of temper out the sweetness of the fruit, and it really didn't. However, what did work to balance out some of the sweetness was the leaf, the green leaf component. It kind of reminded me of the scent of Rain Kissed Leaves from Bath and Body Works. This lotion, I don't know if they still carry it or not. I don't really buy that much from Bath and Body Works anymore, although my kids do. Um, but it really reminded me of that, and I loved that scent. And that leafy, um, earthy component definitely does balance out the blackberry. It's more similar to like a blackberry plant. You know, the whole thing, the leaves, the woodiness, the fruit. You kind of get the plant component as opposed to just the berry, which is really nice. However, the addition of the sugar, it did make it a little too sweet for me. I don't think it really needed that extra sugar component. Although I did enjoy burning it. I burned it with actually Kringle Sinister. I burned it with that. And they made a good combo. So I would get this one again, but I would pair it with something a little bit more, maybe like a little citrusy or something to kind of balance out that sweetness. But all in all, it was a good candle, just not 100% my thing. So the next two candles I had a total of five that I burned through this week. The remaining two are both Kringle candles. The first one, oh, it's hiding behind my computer, so let me grab that real quick. The first one was a Halloween candle this year, really popular, and it is Skull and Sonnet. Love the label. It's very evocative of Shakespeare, Hamlet, which was great. I had it in our library, which is what we call it, which is where we have all the books in our home, so it was a perfect fit there. So the notes on this one are bourbon, tobacco, sandalwood, suede, amber, and oak. When I read the scent notes, that's right up my alley. I love it. I loved the scent notes, and then sure enough, when it came in the mail and I smelled it, it was fantastic. Loved it. Kind of masculine, but not overly so. I wouldn't label it as a truly masculine scent. It kind of reminds me of what I imagine, if anyone's seen Gilmore Girls, I imagine a lot of people have, but what Richard Gilmore's study would have smelled like. That's very, I mean, maybe the only thing missing from that is a little bit of smoke from the fireplace, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. Great scent on cold. My issue with this candle, though, is when I lit it, um, I got nothing for like the first half of the candle. And when I posted my review on Facebook, I expressed a little bit of frustration, right? I mean, it's a $34 candle. You want to get, you want to get a candle that throws. Especially when it smells so good on cold. It's disappointing when you light it up and you're like, wait, where's the scent that I loved? So about halfway through the candle, I still was not getting anything. I had to kind of hover over it. I mean, the throw was, I mean, maybe a few feet from the candle, if that. I had it relatively close to the desk I was working at. Didn't get a whole lot. So when I posted the review, I had a couple people comment saying they had a similar experience, but the throw improved for them at about the halfway mark. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep burning it, of course. I mean, I'm not going to, get rid of it. So I'll keep trying. And sure enough, at about a little over the halfway mark, it started to throw. And it started to throw quite well. The throw actually continued to improve as it burned down. And by the last quarter, it was very strong. I do have a backup, and I'm gonna let it cure, I think is the correct term, for a year, and then bring it out for next Halloween, and I'll see if I have a different experience. Um, maybe these scents just had to sit for a while longer, the oils, in order to get the best experience. But um, it was a great scent. I just wish that the scent had been more evenly distributed, so I could have enjoyed this for longer. So yeah, Skull and Sonnet. This one's not available anymore. It was again, it was a Halloween scent, and it actually sold out. It sold out relatively quickly, and then they released more, and then that also sold out quickly. That's when I snagged my second one, um, which I wasn't gonna buy a second one until I could tell that it was going to throw it all. So I waited until that restock, and then I purchased one more to just kind of let it sit and see, what we experience next year. So I'll definitely be talking about that and seeing if there's a difference. All right, so the last one was another Kringle candle, and this is from the Reserve Fall collection. And this one actually sold out pretty fast too, and that is the Pumpkin Spice Latte. The scent notes in this one are nutmeg, cinnamon, coffee, clove, vanilla, and cream. Um, so this one, like I mentioned, it sold out pretty fast. I did get two at the initial release because um, a lot of the ambassadors had described it as being a really good coffee scent, like not just cream, not just pumpkin, not just spice, but a true coffee scent. And I loved that. I wanted a coffee candle with, the pumpkin accent, but I didn't want the pumpkin and the cream to be the highlight. I wanted it to be a coffee candle, right? So I did get two. Um, and when I smelled it on cold, it was exactly what I wanted. Exactly. It is a coffee candle first and foremost. A really deep, rich coffee. Really deep, rich coffee. I mean, fantastic. I mean, I would want to drink this. If someone handed me a drink and it smelled like this, I'll take two, please. Um, it smells great. Even now, I'm really, I'm really enjoying the last little bit of wax. Um, so loved it. Lit it. I got nothing. Nothing. It had no throw for me. Um, I had to be hovering over it, and even then, I didn't get a whole lot. It almost smelled like burnt when it was burning. I did not enjoy it at all. Um, and again, I posted a review in the Facebook page I'm a member of, and I was like, "What's the deal? Like, this should have been so good. I loved it. I mean, it was perfect, the perfect candle for me." And so what's happening? And again, I got a couple comments saying, "Well, just let it burn." Um, a couple people said that they had a similar experience. They let it burn. They got a better result. Um, and I did, and it did. It did start to improve again at about the halfway point, similar to Skull and Sonnet. And then by the time it burned down to about the third of the wax remaining, huge powerhouse. I mean, it went everywhere. It threw everywhere. And it gave me the scent that I wanted again. So I don't know what the deal is. Again, I'm gonna do what I did with the Skull and Sonnet. I'm gonna put it in a box, put it away for a year, pull it out again next fall, and we'll see if it changes. Um, Kringles are not cheap. They are not cheap candles. What I love about Kringle candles is the creativity of the blends. I feel like they are kind of standouts in at least among the candle brands that I've tried. I love all the candle brands that I buy from, by the way. Love Goose Creeks, love them. You cannot beat the value of a Goose Creek candle. I mean, they're very reliable. I usually get great burns, great, good throw. Love them. We'll continue to buy them forever, most likely, unless something really changes. Kringles, I have really enjoyed them. Um, it does get frustrating though when you have a little bit of a situation like this where you don't get the full burn worth of scent. However, what you do get with Kringle is the creativity. And I always, whenever anyone mentions Kringle candle and, my thoughts, I always go back to the 6 feet under candle and I'm like, that candle sold me because you lift the lid and you're surprised that what's in this container is not just wet dirt. It smells exactly like wet dirt. I don't know how they did it, some sort of witchcraft, but it's amazing. how they were able to create something that smelled so much like what it was trying to be. And that's with with Kringle, like the Halloween scents were what kind of got me hooked on it. And it was the fact that, yes, okay, the scents are not always pretty, they're not always yummy, but they are so true to what they're trying to be. And I find that really appealing and intriguing. And that's what I love about Kringle Candle. And a lot of these candles are true winners, through and through. You light them, they're great. They burn so clean, so clean. Um, but it's these little like hiccups, if you will, where the fragrance oils are not evenly distributed. You don't get that full burn, where it gets a little frustrating, especially given the price point. Anyway, all that to say, it was a really good week of candles. I'd say if I had to pick my favorite overall, I'd have to go with Applewood Trail. I think that this is probably my favorite of the group, in terms of performance, scent, throw, everything. I think this candle was fantastic. Um, if I had to go with my least favorite, um, I would probably have to go with the Blackberry Bourbon. Um, Again, that's a personal preference. I would definitely recommend this candle to people. I would have no hesitation recommending it. It's more of a personal thing. I'm not a huge fan of super sweet scents, and this one to me just did not succeed in tempering the sweetness in the way I personally would have liked. But still, all in all, a great set of candles this week. Next week, I will have a dud candle that will be fun. I have a definite loser, and I'll leave you in suspense as to what that candle was, until next week. With that being said, have a great Saturday, and I'll see you later. Bye.